Hey guys, Ultimate S&S back here. We discussed a little bit in another video about what the bird flu is, the H5N1 virus that's going around. So I want to show you kind of what I'm doing here on the homestead to help protect against that. There's going to be different steps depending what type of flock animal that you're keeping. I do not have turkeys. I've never raised turkeys. I imagine it's going to be pretty similar to chickens, but honestly, you're going to have to research the turkeys. But what I can show you is the chickens. I can discuss the quail, and I can discuss what to do if you have another type of a waterfowl flock animal, such as ducks or geese. So we're going to step outside. We're going to show you what I've got going on here. So talking security with your chicken coops, as you can see, I have the 1/2 inch hardware mesh that is laid across the ground. I have hardware mesh that goes 2 foot down, straight down into the ground. I have the hardware mesh coming up the sides. And then I've placed a double layer of this wire here to keep hawks and things like that from flying in. There was a tarp over on this side. It got blowed off in the last windstorm we had the other night. So there is this tarp left. I'm going to put another one on top, and what that is supposed to protect is it's going to keep any kind of bird that flies overhead. It's going to keep them from defecating down into my area. So some of the best ways you can protect your flocks from this bird flu is you want to make sure that your feed sources and your water source, which I keep inside the coop there, you want to make sure that that cannot be accessed by any wild birds. For those that are dealing with issues that maybe you have ducks or some kind of a waterfowl, understand it is the waterfowl that are typically transmitting the disease. They're coming in and they're messing around in little ponds, retention ponds, and things like that. And that is one of the major ways that this disease is spread, is by an infected bird eating or drinking from a source that is shared with a domestic flock animal. So when I was setting up for getting my chickens in, guys, y'all probably remember some of those videos. If not, go to Chicken Care videos and we kind of show you how to assemble that and the modifications I made to it since then. But I had a real heavy focus on predators because we have a lot of predators in the area. So everything is like built really heavy duty as far as to keep coyotes and things like that from digging into the coop, skunks and stuff. So, but I also wanted to look at it from an aspect of keeping out flying birds. And the easiest way that I found to do that was to not only net the top in with a cheap wire that came with the coop, and I may have replaced that later, but it seems to be doing okay so far. But I also wanted to cover the top because if they can't see in it, the chances of them diving down at it are very low. But the first tarp I'd put on covered the whole run. Unfortunately, it is gone. It got blown away in the storm. I have not been able to locate it. That or it got taken by somebody, but I'm guessing it probably got blown away in a storm. So I went with the smaller ones. I removed one of the tarps that was out there. It was getting pretty ratty, so just been kind of replacing them with cheap tarps. Do not go and spend a bunch of money on one unless you're buying one of those oil canvas type tarps, and that will probably last you a very long time, but it's going to be very heavy on top. So that's going to keep the birds that are flying overhead, as I said, it's going to keep them from pooping in there. And as long as you're protecting your feed and your water source, and wild birds cannot get in and graze the area where your chickens or your flock animals are at, the chances of them catching that disease is like very minuscule. The reason I say that is it has to be some sort of a source contact, either contaminated water, contaminated food, or fecal matter or something like that on the ground, or they actually come in contact with each other, physically come in contact with each other. It is not airborne to the degree of like if we were sick type of a deal. So as I had said in a previous video, I see this as another one of those gain of function things. I don't really know, guys. I've just kind of got to a point where I just don't really trust a lot of what we're hearing come across the media. They've been caught lying too many times. They've been caught misrepresenting facts too many times for me to listen to it. So I just look at things from an aspect of, well, how is this going to be used to affect not just me, but other homesteaders? And typically that has been the way that it comes about happening is to push more regulations. So it is up to you what you do with those regulations, guys. I can't tell you what to do with them. I know what I'm doing with them. But I can't tell you how to react to that, guys. That's for you to make a decision. That's for you to decide upon. Are you going to give up your God-given rights and become subservient? We discussed that in another video as well. So without covering back into those facts, I just wanted to kind of take a moment to give you some advice as far as what you can do at home to protect your chickens and stuff, guys. Understand this is not an infected bird flew by 2 miles away, so now you got to worry about your flock getting sick. This is keep the potentially infected birds away from your flocks. That's all you have to do. Any means necessary, whatever you can think of, that's the way you want to do it. So that seems to be working well for me. I do not free range my chickens. I had originally intended to do that, but with the hawks and things we have in the area, it didn't seem like a good idea. And then I had heard some, cracks and scratches about this bird flu that was coming out. So I just decided now's not the time. I'm not going to run the risk of losing my flock. They're perfectly content in their run. As nice as it would be to be able to free graze them, which would cut back on feed and stuff, I could still free graze them. I just got to do it a little bit different, which is to go out and cut the weeds myself, or the plants and stuff myself, and throw them into the run. Let them do what they're going to do. Catch bugs and stuff like that, throw them into the run. But what you're going to discover is as those birds are defecating, it does draw flies and other types of insects in, and they have a tendency to sit there and wait for them. You'll see your chickens out there trying to catch a fly, or nailing ants as they come in, and different types of beetles that like to come and feed on that feces. So it is a full fold where they still are getting some of their sources and stuff. But I hope everyone's having a great day. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll talk to everybody later.